Hey, it's Chris, and due to popular demand, this is a video about what's on my iPhone. And actually, all I really need is 2 words to tell you what's on my iPhone. A case. Ha! Anyways, I'm changing things up on my phone all the time. For proof, you just have to go back a few months and check out a video I did where I only had 2 rows of apps and folders on my phone. Yeah, that didn't really last too long. Right now I've got a row of folders across the top of my home screen, and the rest of the screen is totally full of apps. The most important stuff and the stuff that I use the most is down towards the bottom of the screen, closer to my thumb, so it's easier to access. And then the stuff that I use less, that tends to get stashed in one of the folders up at the top of the screen. If you're an observant person, you probably realize that for some reason or another, I tend to group similar apps into rows. So for email, I'm currently using Spark, and I've used so many email apps over the last few years that it's kind of ridiculous, and none of them are exactly perfect, but for some reason I settled on Spark. It just seems to get the job done for me, at least right now. My calendar app right now is TimePage because it's the nicest looking calendar app in the world, and it gets a lot of updates, so that keeps it going strong. For crucial reminders, I still use the Do app. Even though it's an oldie, it's still a goodie. I've got it set up to suck the reminders I make with Siri out of the default Apple Reminders app so there aren't any duplicates. And then it just keeps reminding you and reminding you and reminding you until you can't take it anymore and you finally do whatever it is that you need to do. Basically, it never lets you forget. I use Buffer for scheduling important social media updates if I want to make sure they have the biggest impact they can. I use Apple Notes as storage for my brain. That's where anything important goes, and it's where I compose most of my scripts for videos and stuff like that. Mainly, I feel like Apple's ecosystem is just more secure and trustworthy compared to other apps like Evernote or even Google Keep. I am an Apple Music user. I actually prefer Spotify in all honesty, but the privacy policy is just horrendous. Apple Music's definitely been improving though a lot since it came out on the scene, and that's definitely a really good thing to see. Obviously, as a tech reviewer, I get a lot of packages, and so I use deliveries to track all of those. Dashlane is what I use for password management. I keep Amazon front and center too because that's where I do a lot of shopping, and it's also where I find a lot of the tech products to review or things to buy for the set or my office. Obviously, I've got YouTube and the YouTube Creator Studio apps, and those along with Twitter and Instagram kind of round out the main social apps that I interact with, at least right now. I do have Pocket for reading interesting articles later, although mostly I store things there and then never see them again until I hop on a plane or something and I have some free time where I can kind of catch up. I do use both Apple News and Flipboard to read interesting things and kind of keep up to date with the news. Why two, you ask? Well, because they both tend to surface different interesting things. One of my favorite apps is InstaRead, which is book summaries of popular nonfiction and fiction books, which is cool for learning new things from time to time. The Curiosity app is a good one for killing a few minutes while you're waiting in line or something like that, and what's cool is that it features 5 interesting facts every day. And then the next 3 apps, Product Hunt, Uncrate, and Gadget Flow, those are all fun ones to check every day for new and interesting products. I've also got a folder that's dedicated to apps that work with my Apple Watch, and a folder for all the extra stuff that I need but I don't use as often as the apps on my home screen. I've also got a folder with all my smart home apps, and a folder where I can stash all the other miscellaneous apps that are somehow related to daily tech or the business. At this point, I don't really have a lot of games on my iPhone. Sometimes they pop on, but they get deleted pretty quick because I really just don't have time. I get a lot of questions about the iPhone wallpapers that I use in different videos. If you haven't already seen the video I did on the best iPhone wallpaper sources, make sure to go check that out as well. And don't forget to follow @DailyTech, spelled Daily T-E-K-K, on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Later.